Obviously, a lot of attention on 2024 now that the votes have been cast in the midterms. 2/3 of Americans in exit polls say that they don't think you should run for re-election. What is your message to them, and how does that factor into your final decision about whether or not to run for re-election?
It doesn't.
What's your message to them? To those 2/3 of Americans?
Watch me.
Okay, one more. Come on.
The White House press corps, man, and the liberal mainstream corporate media as a whole, they're finally coming around. And isn't it amazing how long they keep up their gamesmanship? They tried to convince you for 3 years or more, really plenty more years, that Joe Biden was intellectually up to the job and cognitively fit. The whole time, they saw what was going on and they tried to hide it from you. And only after the Hur report are they willing to even pretend to go after the truth for you.
MJ. Hey, Karine, any updates on when the president's physical might be taking place?
So he will have a physical when we have information on that. So obviously, we will certainly share that with all of you. It will be transparent. There will be a comprehensive report, as we have done the last 2 years. Just don't have a timeline for you.
Plan on the press getting a heads up before the physical happens, or will we find out once it has taken place?
We're going to do it the way that we've done it the last 2 years. It's not going to be anything different. So the way that we've approached this the last 2 years will be the same way that we do this this third year.
Does the White House think that the idea of the president taking a cognition test, a cognitive test, as a part of this physical is a legitimate idea, particularly just on the heels of the special counsel report, more polling, as my colleague Selena just mentioned, showing that many American people have concerns about that?
Look, I got this question last week as well, and I'm just going to say what Dr. O'Connor, it's kind of what he said to me about a year ago when the report came out last year, obviously on his physical, which is the president proves every day how he operates, how he thinks.
Yeah, we know. We see it. I mean, he told us multiple times to watch him, so we have been watching him, and that's exactly why we're asking. I hate to be the one to break it to Karine. I know that they don't exactly cover this kind of stuff in Diversity Higher School, but based on the way the president has shown he operates, as she put it, or how he thinks, as she put it even better, we're going to need to get a second opinion, as they say in the medical field.
How he operates, how he thinks, right? But by dealing with world leaders, by making really difficult decisions on behalf of the American people, whether it's domestic, whether it's national security. And so he shows it every day on how he thinks, how he operates. And so that is how Dr. O'Connor sees it, and that's how I'm going to leave it.
That did not make us feel any better. Let me know in the comments if that made you feel any better. But you really got us kind of super concerned when you said world leaders and national security. And what exactly does she mean that that's how the doctor sees it? Is she saying that the doctor just sees that somehow he's struggling through the daily grind of being president and he's like, well, I've seen all I need to see here. He's alive, he's breathing, he's president. Good enough for me. Let's write this sucker up.
What do you think about the idea of taking that kind of a test?
I mean, look, and I talked about this last week too on I believe on Friday. I have known this president since 2009. He is not just my boss, he's also a mentor to me. And I spent sometimes countless hours with him, whether it's in the Oval Office, whether it's on the road. And I believe, for me, you're asking me my personal opinion, he is sharp. He is on top of things.
No, that is not at all what people are actually asking. No one wants your opinion, especially if you're trying to tell us that he's the same man you met in 2009. You're a fucking liar if that's what you expect us to believe. But no one cares what you see. No one cares what you think. We want to see a cognitive exam of an 81-year-old president who expects us to elect him again.
Meetings with him, with his staff. He's constantly pushing us, trying to get more information. And so that has been my experience with this president. Anything else outside of that, I just shared with you what Dr. O'Connor said to me, and so I'll just leave it there.
These people, man, they are so accustomed to not being challenged. But of course they are. This is what happens when the press corps doesn't do their job for years and years and years. You got a diversity hire press secretary, and she thinks that she can just give her opinion of the president's cognitive abilities, and that's going to be okay for the mushy brain propaganda victims at home. That has been okay, but that's not going to cut it anymore. I mean, the guy just got let off the hook for serious felonies because the special counsel said a jury would see him as a well-meaning old man with memory loss, and they would never convict him. So either that's not true, and he needs to be held accountable for his crimes, or that is true, and he needs to pass a few tests before he can keep being the leader of the free freaking world. I mean, it could not be any more simple than that, and I think that's fair. I mean, there are not words to put in how ridiculous this really is. I mean, these people think that they can do whatever they want. But now I want to show you an actual doctor who has given real exams to real presidents not long ago, back when the media was actually begging to make presidents jump through medical hoops, right? Now, obviously, Ronny Jackson was never Joe Biden's doctor, and he hasn't known him since 2009 like KJP. But I think we should listen to what the man has to say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate everybody being here. I just want to thank Congressman Pfluger for introducing his bill on our LNG exports. I want to thank leadership. I want to thank Speaker Johnson, Leader Scalise, Whip Emmer, and Chairwoman Stefanik for keeping this oil and gas issue at the top of the thing. But I want to talk about something else today. What I want to talk about is in regards to the HER report that just came out. I think this is on the mind of a lot of Americans right now. I want to just state the obvious. If you're not cognitively fit to stand trial or to answer accusations against you, you're obviously not cognitively fit to be the president, our commander-in-chief, and our head of state. And I think that, you know, we have to, at this particular point, we have to start asking the hard questions. I'm glad to see that some of the press is starting to do that. You know, I've been saying individually for a long time since he was candidate Joe Biden that this man's not cognitively fit to be our head of state and our commander-in-chief. We've had lots of evidence of that since then. A lot of people are starting to see that. Now we have the HER reports coming out, which is a completely different angle on this, an objective report from a member, from an appointee of his own DOJ, from his own administration, that's saying that he's not cognitively fit to do his job. And I think that, you know, when the president got up the other day and tried to speak to the nation, he just reiterated and reinforced the idea that we are in trouble in this country right now from a leadership standpoint. Look, you know, this LNG thing is a big issue for us. You know, I grew up in the oil field in West Texas. I know how important this is. It's a national security issue. It's an issue for our economy. It's going to punish hardworking blue-collar folks in this country. But, you know, whether it's this LNG issue, whether it's our disaster at the border, whether it's the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the crime in our cities, all of the other issues that have just been an absolute disaster during the Biden administration, what it says to us is that Joe Biden is probably most likely not making these decisions. We know this at this particular point. There are radical extremists in the West Wing, whether it's climate extremists or whether it's the globalists that are making a lot of these decisions. These decisions are not coming from President Biden. These are coming from other folks within the White House with different agendas, with an agenda that's not America first, that's not in the best interest of this country. So I just want to let everybody know that we are going to continue to make this an issue. I will be introducing another letter today. This will be the fifth letter that I've introduced, that I've sent to the president. This will go directly to President Biden. It will CC every member of his cabinet, and it will insist that he come forward and be honest with us about his physical and his mental capabilities and his exams. He's supposed to be getting a physical exam done here in just a few months, his annual physical. They've already indicated that there will not be a cognitive test associated with that. I think if there was ever a time that we need a cognitive test for a sitting president of the United States, it's right now. And as you remember, President Trump got one. I think he set the precedent. It was a large part because of the press's insistence that he have that included as part of his physical exam. I would like to see that same type of enthusiasm and insistence from the press right now that President Biden submit to a cognitive exam as part of his physical exam. And if he thinks he's fit to lead this country, prove it to us with some objective data that says so. And with that, I just want to turn it over to my friend and Chairman Mark Green from Tennessee. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Ronny Jackson, the dude is passionate about this subject. And really, man, we all should be that passionate about this subject. We are in big trouble in this world. We have enemies everywhere. We have people struggling everywhere. We have lives and livings literally depending on this government. You know, I used to think that the president was largely like some sort of figurehead type station, but these last few years have proven that it really is not. It requires real leadership, and leadership requires real mental fitness, like the most serious kind of mental fitness. And really, Guys, this should not be a partisan thing. If you have to be 35 and you have to be naturally born, you can't be an insurrectionist and a real one, not the Colorado kind of insurrectionist, of course. But if all those things are true, then I think it's probably fair to add to that list, if you're over a certain age, you got to pass a few tests. I mean, let's just keep it completely simple. Whatever state your home state is, you got to pass the same tests that you would to have to get your driver's license. So if you can't drive in your home state, you probably can't be president. But anyway, that's just my take. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. And if you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.